Hallo.
Hi guys, I'm Adrian. This weekend I got 7th place at the German Open and I played pure RYZEAL. So I played almost the same list I played at WößNER Birmingham, but I changed some cards in the side and 2 cards in the extra deck. So for the engine we maxed out. There isn't really anything to debate about this. This deck breaks, so you need to max out an engine, and we played Pot of Desires, so you have to play multiples of these, because if you banish your only copy, you don't have any grind game. And this deck doesn't kill your opponent on turn 1, so you need some grind game. And then for consistency, the pots, I think you have to max out on these because, as I said, the deck bricks. And the Prosperity, I always side out going second because you want to draw cards with talents and with your other pot. So I will always just side it out going second. And with the 6th card, your consistency also gets better. And then we played 6 hand traps. These are the only hand traps in the deck. The reason why we play these is because we want something to stop dual drive, and we want board breakers that are also good going first. And also, I think if you don't play Ash Blossom, you're just misplaying, because this card stops Metaltronus, Charmies, everything. I think it's the best non-engine card of the format. And yeah. And also these stop dual drive. And the reason why we don't full commit into hand traps is because this deck loses either to bricking or to D-barrier. And people don't really play D-barrier, but if they play it with thrust. So you don't want to hand trap your opponent and get thrusted for D-barrier. And also this deck doesn't have lots of starters, as I said, and if you hand trap them and they talents look at your hand and rip your only starter, you also just lose. So I think board breakers are just a better approach for this deck. But you also need to kind of find a balance of cards that work going first and second, because the end part of this deck it's good, but it doesn't just win you the game, so you need some backup through the non-engine. And then for the breakers, which are like the best cards in the deck, 3 Slayer, 3 Metaltronus. These are just cards that are insane into RYZEAL, and they're also decent into other matchups. This deck is mainly built to beat RYZEAL, but if you use your breakers well, you can usually also beat most other decks going second. But sometimes it can be a bit rough into Rogue. And you'll see in the extra deck what targets we play for these cards. Then for the other breaks we played Book, the Rust Talents, and 1 Duster. So the books are mainly going first cards because they help you push through your dual drive, which is really important, because if you don't resolve dual drive, your end board is first of kind of weak and always loses to Nibiru. So resolving it to get to cross is pretty important. And it's also decent going second. And going first as a non-engine card, it's also really strong, especially into metas. Booking a name is usually really, really strong. And the reason why we played 2 and 2 of these is because we just don't want to draw too many multiples of these, especially with the pots. It just gets too cloggy, so we only played 2 and 2. But Talents was really good so far, so I am thinking about playing the 3rd maybe. And then just 1 call by. This card is good going first and second, and you want to be able to stop Charmies, Shifter, and Droll especially. If you get Drolled while you go second into a board, it's usually just impossible. Then for the extra deck, we played 2 Detonator, 2 Duo, 2 Twins. I think there isn't really anything to talk about here. I think this is standard. Twins is like the most broken card this deck could have ever gotten as support. So yeah. And I think that's also one of the reasons why you should be playing this deck and not Fiendsmith, because this deck is just way better at abusing this card. X as a turn 3 follow-up card is just absurd. Then for ranked 4s we played these 4. I think these two are not debatable. I think these are definitely mandatory. Turn 1, you make 3 XZs, and it's dual drive, detonator, and either of these two. If you don't know the matchup, you just draw 2 cards with this, and if you know that Dweller is good, you just make Dweller. And then going second, I think this card is definitely cuttable, but one reason why I didn't cut it is because I wanted to have a target for Light Fiends, for Fiendsmith stuff, that is summonable under the lock. And same also kind of goes for this. I want to be able to Metaltronus the Whitebinder after I'm locked. Yeah, and they're also decent to breakboards. And then Aggregate is also just mandatory. Typhon could also be cut. I don't think I've made it once this weekend, and in Birmingham I made it like at max 1 or 2 times, so it doesn't come up a lot, but theoretically in RYZEAL grind games it can definitely come up. And then just some Slayer / Tronus targets. So Malone, shout out Sabatu. This card was insane. I played against Crystron, Blue Eyes, Sword Soul, and every time this card just was completely insane. Slayer, removing a threat and then bouncing another card is just super broken. And then you can attach this with your detonator, and another removal effect under your detonator is just broken. And these are just here for if you want to Slayer Link monsters. Then Feed Center and tokens. For the side deck, I played one plugin for going first. You could not play this, but I think it's really strong going first. And into some rogue matchups, I want to have more pushes, so I also side this going second sometimes. And the other going first cards are just 6 columns. You can side these into everything, and they're always broken. I don't think you need any floodgates or anything. These cards are more than good enough. And then for Melis Hate, we played Burial. I didn't draw this card once, so it's hard to really say how good it is, but in theory it's pretty good. And I didn't want to play Bell anymore because it's just too weak into Bestials. And then Dark Ruler. I side this into pure RYZEAL because Ash Blossom just doesn't do anything against the deck. If I decide to not Ash the Dual Drive, because I'm too afraid of Thrust and Talents, so this is just stronger. And I also always side this into Melis, because Imperm is just super weak into that deck. And then 2 Storm, this card is completely insane. You always side this into every matchup because people side tons of Solemns and Imperms, just a lot of backrow you really want to get rid of, Metaltronus as well. So this card is really good. Then,
do you want to talk about your matchups?
Yeah, I played against 3 Melis, lost to one of them. 1 Blue Eyes I drew, 1 Crystron, 1 Sword Soul, and then 2 Pure RYZEAL and 2 Fiendsmith RYZEAL.
Okay.
Which all of those I beat. For the shoutouts, shoutouts to the boys, Omar, Anthony, Batu, Edin, Tommy, Justin, Timo, Rob. Was ist das, Digga? And obviously the GOAT, Gurre. That was way too funny. I think that should be everyone. Big shoutouts to Eldin for basically making the whole list. He's the deck builder of our group, and I think without his deck building, this really wouldn't have been possible. I think this list is really good, and yeah, I think I'll continue playing this. That's it. Bye.